On this episode of the show, we're going to talk about transitioning from estate planning from criminal defense, personal injury to estate planning. Here we go. Hey everybody, this is episode 145, I think. This is Christopher Small, and I'm excited to be here with you today. It's Friday. It's my first ever live Q&A. There's no one here yet, by the way. So I've got that going for me. But that's okay, because we're recording this. I'll release it anyway, and hopefully more of you will join me in the future. I'm planning on doing this every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can also email me your questions throughout the week. Chris at theartoflawyering.com. All you have to do is maybe like put questions at the top, so that, hey Chris, by the way, thank you for showing up. Short notice, man. First time. I'm just happy to have one person here, and I've got your question already. I'm going to answer in a minute. But if you want to email me your questions throughout the week, you can. You don't have to be here live. I'll just record it, and then it'll be released as a podcast episode in case you can't make it for whatever reason. So again, email me, Chris at theartoflawyering.com, and put question in the subject line so I can search for them at the end of the week, and then I will give them to everybody. So let's just dive right in. There's two questions. Actually, there's three questions that I want to get to, and so let's do Chris's first because he is here. So let's see here. All right. So Chris says, I recently subscribed to the LFC podcast, and I've been working my way through it, trying to get caught up to real time. I made it up to around the middle of January so far. Haha. Yeah, good. There's a whole bunch. I think I recorded episode 329 yesterday, so we're coming up on a year, which is pretty cool. I had a question for you though. You talked several times about reading through some of the Alexis Neely content. I wanted to ask you how you liked it. I've considered purchasing some of her stuff before, but I've never pulled the trigger. Good, bad, or indifferent? So I got to be honest with you. I only glanced through it, really. I went through it to try to get and check out some of her forms, try to check out some of the things that she was giving away. I will tell you the content, and you got to remember, I sort of got a bootleg copy of this too, so my experience may be different than people that are actual full-fledged members. I thought the content was a little disjointed and hard to get through. I didn't think it was organized extremely well. It's basically like these hour-long or 2-hour-long recorded audio conferences that she's done. So it's hard to find where the meat is. It's hard to find out where the good stuff is. So that was kind of my experience. The forums were pretty good, were pretty cool. I was able to use those to kind of create my own stuff, which was great. Those I actually bought. I actually purchased. What I did for that was I just went through her. She has an offer, right? An opt-in that you can get, and I actually went through and bought that. So the stuff that I use actually isn't even through her program. It's the stuff that I got. I am looking at some other estate planning programs to try to just pick up a little bit more experience, learn a little bit more, and then B, also pick up some marketing ideas. And I'm always trying to learn stuff. So the thing that I was looking at, it's called the American Association of Estate Planning Attorneys, something like that. So that's that. There's another question too, though. You have also, would you be willing to share a sample of the free guardianship paperwork that you offer to clients? My situation is very similar to yours. It's really in my personal injury practice. So the answer is yes, I could. I don't have a problem doing that. I will. Let's see. I can just put it somewhere. Typically, I put it in the membership area, but I don't think you're a full-fledged member. It'd be cool if you were. Then you could have that. But I can probably just email it to you. So I'll do that after this. No problem doing that. Okay. Chad, what's up, buddy? We have a live question, so I'm going to answer that right now, and then we'll get to the other email questions too. Chad says, I'm selling a condo that I've rented out for the past 5 years. How much of the profit should I set aside for taxes? Great question, Chad. This is, I will say this, although I'm a lawyer, this is sort of a business side of the law firm Q&A, but I did say you can ask whatever questions you want, so that's fine. So, how much of the profit should you set aside for taxes? You should set aside whatever the tax is going to be on the profit in your area. You should also consider just reinvesting the whole thing into another property, into some kind of investment. Then you don't have to pay any tax on it. You can just roll it over. It's called 1031 exchange. So it depends on how much profit you have is going to sort of determine how much tax you have to pay. Also, if it's a resident, it's going to be different. I would call an accountant. They can tell you in about 5 seconds. You tell them what's going on. They'll tell you what tax you could potentially owe. All right. Okay, next question is from, where is that one? Scott. Scott says, first, I hope things are going well for you. Second, I do have a question. I'm interested to hear how the transition is going from PI to estate planning. As a PI lawyer in a fairly affluent community, I can see the potential for building out a successful estate planning practice. I'm wondering how you found the transition, whether you're enjoying the area, and whether your marketing is in any way different or towards a different audience. All right, so that's question number one. He also has a question number two, which I'll answer after this one. So first, how is the transition from PI to estate planning going? It's going pretty well. Okay, it's going fine. But the problem is, it's a difficult question to answer because it's still so early in the process. You know, even though I was able to see some success pretty quickly, and I did see some success pretty quickly, it's still really early. So I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. I'm still learning and figuring out how the marketing systems work when it comes to estate planning. I'm still learning how to be a really good estate planning attorney. So it's still so early in the process that it's hard. It's difficult to say how it's going. Really, the transition is fine, right? It's you just go hustle just like you do for PI. You do it for just like you hustle for anything, right? I mean, the key is really just to get out there. I've been doing a lot more when it comes to marketing. Is my marketing in any way different? It's very, very different. I am doing a lot more networking. I'm doing almost all networking so far. I just started the Facebook ads campaign yesterday, and I'm going to start doing some direct mail. I'm going to start doing some seminars or some webinars. I'm going to start doing a whole bunch of different stuff. It's way different because your potential clients are readily identifiable, right? Basically, anybody that is alive needs an estate plan, right? So your potential client base is huge. Whereas when it comes to PI, you're really trying to find people in a very specific, time-sensitive situation. So that's what makes it a big difference. Let's see. I would agree. I think estate planning is great, though. It's a good opportunity to add on, because another thing you can do too is if people get these huge PI awards, you can also offer to put them together. You know, put the estate plan together for them, special needs trust or whatever else they might need via that. So let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, okay, so second question. I'm also curious about your thoughts on an idea I had for an estate planning practice, establishing essentially a gold or VIP member program which allows high net worth customers to pay a monthly fee, $200 or so, to have the attorneys serve as a sounding board of sorts for their estate, personal, business questions. It could include monthly phone calls, quarterly meetings, etc. I was looking at it from the lens of a financial advisor. They charge a flat fee to manage your investments, and included in that is an annual review, etc. Seems like something similar could be pretty profitable on the estate planning side, and advisors happen to be a built-in referral source. That is a very interesting question that you ask, because I just had a conversation with a financial advisor this week about something that's very, very similar to that. The critical point when it comes to establishing a sort of a membership plan for people like that is going to be demonstrating value to them over the long haul. What I would do if I were you, and what I'm considering doing, is just trying to give not even limiting it in the way that you said, but just giving them everything. So for like $100 a month, you get all of your estate planning needs met all the time. The key to success when it comes to that kind of a thing is going to be volume, right? You're going to need a relatively large number of clients to make that sustainable. Because if you have, for example, just one client paying you $100 a month, that's not going to work. You're going to need, but if you can get 500 paying you $100 a month, then that's 50 grand a month, right? So it's a numbers play. And you're right, financial advisors would be built-in potential referral sources for you and potential partners, right? Because you could just have them add that on as a part of their service, and then you would just be the attorney that works via that deal, right? So if that's possible, and that's what I discussed with this other financial advisor, and I think it'd be a great opportunity, and it's something that I am strongly considering. It's just one of those things where you get a million different ideas. You can only pursue so many at one time, but that is definitely a fantastic idea. The key, though, when it comes to that kind of an offer is to be able to just make it work. Julian has a follow-up question to that. He says, and by the way, if I seem a little disjointed, it's because I'm not used to doing this live. So these questions pop up and I am immediately drawn to them. But so Julian says, would you be scared to get overwhelmed in that type of subscription-based service, like if you had 500 clients? And Julian, the answer is no, I wouldn't really, because what happens is when you have 500 clients, they all don't need help at the same time, right? And they may need help once a year for an estate planning need, right? If you think about it like that. And what you can do is monthly check-in calls with everyone. So you check in, see how they're doing. If they have a need, you fix it. But you got to remember, at $500 a person, at $100 a month, that's $50,000 a month. So at $50,000 a month, you don't have to do any marketing. You can hire another attorney to service your clients. You can do all kinds of fun stuff that will lower the potential for that happening. And if that does happen, then you just have to deal with it. But the chances of all 500 needing you all at one time are very, very small. You know, that's not a typical, it wouldn't be a typical action. You know, you have to think about a doctor's office, for example. They have many, many recurring clients, right? They just schedule everything out so that it works, you know. But a subscription model like that would be amazing. And in fact, if you Google, you know, like private care doctors or something, I don't know what the terminology is, but you'll find that a lot of doctors are moving to the same thing. So what they're really trying to do is exactly what we just talked about. The reason for that is just what we talked about. Because what happens now is doctors, they roll people through super fast. You know, it's bang, bang, bang. They're trying to service as many people in one day as they can. But if they do a subscription model, they know not everybody's going to be coming in all the time, and then they can leverage that to see people more, to give a better service, to give more time, and it all works out. So that's great. The other great thing about a service like that is you don't have to keep your time, right? You just do the work, which is amazing. So something I'm really thinking about doing and pursuing. So Edmund Yan, who is at least a law firm confidential podcast member, asks me, Chris, where did you get that tie? Let's see. This is a Ben Sherman tie. I'm 99% sure that I got it from Nordstrom Rack. So you can see, pretty fancy. I like it. And I get most of my ties from Nordstrom Rack because they're good quality and they're relatively cheap. $20 or so, $25 maybe. All right. Thank you for the question. What else do we have? I have one other question to get to, I know. Let me find it real quick. It's very similar to one of the questions I already asked, but I promised I would answer it, so I'm going to find it here real quick. I'll ask another Ed. Do you go by Ed or Edmund, by the way? I think Edmund maybe, because that's what's on here. But he asks, this is from Law Firm Confidential membership area, by the way. Hey, Chris, what do you use to manage your Instagram posts? He's implementing Instagram strategy and would like to find a website or agency that posts relevant pictures and captions every day. Let me know if there's any tools or agencies you recommend. Thanks. So what I told him was I do it myself. I do it myself. Emily, my assistant, helps me with it. She is kind of in charge of finding the images and the quotes and posting them. You know, basically talked about what we're looking for and what the strategy is. And Ed, excellent. And we use we use WordSwag to create the text overlaid over the images. We use Latergram, I believe, to schedule posts out. We're not all the way where we want to be yet, but we're trying to do 4 or so posts every day, and then eventually, by eventually I mean very soon, we're going to have a 5th post a day, which is going to be some sort of call to action. So part of my Facebook advertising right now is a link or a free ebook, 7 estate planning mistakes every family needs to avoid. So we'll start to put that in there. But we do it ourselves, and it's really tough. I think you can outsource that kind of stuff, but for us, the value is not there yet, right? I mean, it is possible, I believe, to find clients on Instagram, particularly if you serve specific markets, but the value, I'm not willing to pay for that yet. I like to do it in-house. I like to learn it myself anyway. I like to learn how to do it. So that's what I do. There are tons of social media companies out there that you can hire to do that, but as far as tools go, WordSwag, Latergram, and then Crowdfire. If you're really into it, Crowdfire is a tool that you can use to get followers pretty quickly. They're not great followers, but you can build up your follower base, and therefore get some street cred from that. Okay? All right, let me find this other question here real quick. Oh man, where did that question go? Let's see. Well, maybe it's gone. Maybe it's lost. I thought it was right here though. That's okay. Look for one more second. We'll see if anybody else has any questions while you're here. If you have a question, ask it. Just type it into the bar below, write a comment or whatever, it'll pop up, and I will answer it. Julian says Hootsuite's pretty good too. Oh yeah, well, I use Hootsuite for Twitter. I use Hootsuite for Twitter only, actually right now. I use Meet Edgar for scheduling posts out for long-term, Facebook and Twitter. Instagram, though, I'm doing relatively organically right now. Where is that? Dawn just tuned in. What is my practice on law? I do estate planning. What I'm talking about here in my main audience right now is law firm owners, though. I will answer, though, any question that you have while I'm here. So if you have one, shoot. I would love to answer it. I'm still looking for this other post, everyone. So give me 1 second. There's one more question to ask before we can wrap it up, or we can keep going if people keep coming in and asking questions. So let's go. What do you guys want to know? What do you want to know? Tell me, and I will answer. What did he say? I can't find it. How do I find a civil rights attorney? Dawn? There's a couple of ways to do that. One, you can just Google it. Two, if you know any other attorneys, you can ask around and get a referral. It's probably the best way to do that. To look around and see if anybody's doing this kind of stuff. I doubt they are, because most attorneys are bad marketers. But I would just Google it in your area. It depends on what kind of case you have. There's so many questions that need to be answered there. But that's where I would start. Okay? All right. I think that is it for today. Thank you, everyone, for asking your questions. Again, if you have questions throughout the week, you can email me, chris@theartoflawyering.com. Put questions in the subject line or question so I can find it. And then I'll be here next week at 10 a.m. You're welcome, Dawn. All right, everybody. That's it for today. I will talk to you soon. Bye.